All right, people, I'm over here in the garage. I was working on the YFZ 450 and story. I bought a new exhaust and did an unboxing video and everything. Man, they ended up sending me the wrong damn exhaust, so that was like crazy. But I did pull out my my Yamaha Banshee motor, which I want to put new piston and rings in here and get this back up and running. Give you a little history behind this. The bike is in pieces. What happened was the frame had cracked on me, and you know it ain't no place to ride, so we ended up driving out 3 hours, and then the foot peg, which is like just a bolt, ended up snapping on me, and that was the end of my day. And I kept having issues with the frame, so I got frustrated, stripped this thing down in pieces, trashed the frame, and it's been in pieces ever since for a couple years now. So I just pulled it out and get back to my two-stroke. So tell you a little bit about this motor. I did a lot of work on this motor. I got Trinity Racing Stage 4 head with 20cc domes. The compression is right on the cup where I can still run pump gas, like 93 octane. I didn't want to do race gas. The cylinders are ported and polished with a MX port work done to them. I got the Trinity Stage 4 intake, which is a 2-to-1 with V-Force reeds. This is a 43 millimeter keying carb. Now I do have the dual carbs, but I like this setup better. It's easier. You don't have to sync the carbs or nothing. Now this setup gives you more bottom end. You lose a little top end, but a lot of bottom end. With the dual carbs, I had more top end, and I ran this with at first I was using the Paul Turner pipes. They call them the French horns. They come out of here and look like a French horn. Then I went to the Toomey, the T5s, and that was a great setup. Also got, it's a little dirty, you can see it, the adjustable timing plate, which this motor is plus 10 degrees. Crank is balanced, trued and balanced, and welded, trued and welded in the crank. And I'll show you all that when I tear it all down. Wasco Racing clutch basket and clutch with the Pancake Bearing. The Pancake Bearing, if you don't know about that, the Yamaha Banshees came out in like 87, so they weren't really designed for this, the modifying how we modify these engines. So it's a rod that goes in there and a little ball bearing on the end, and when you push on your lever, like say you downshifting, because the motor making so much power, that rod will weld to that little bearing, and once that happens, boom, you're done. That's the end of your day. So they came up with this Pancake Bearing mod. It's like a pancake bearing, and it goes in there and it works great. So I got that in there. I definitely recommend that one, because once that thing welds, that's the end of your day right there. And I've done that a few times. Just give y'all a little bit of history. The Banshee motor came from a street bike that used to be called the RZ 350. Came out like 84, 85, and it was a popular street bike. And what Yamaha did was, it took the motor out of that, stripped out all the electronics and everything, took that out and put it in a four-wheeler, which we know today as the Yamaha Banshee. Just a little history for you, So, all right, people, I was going to mount the camera and take it all apart, but I don't feel like doing all that. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna just do this in clips. Probably be a part 1 and 2 or something, who knows. But I'm just take it down, show you everything, but I'm strip the whole motor out. Had to find my flywheel puller. I knew I had it, I just had to find it. That actually goes in there, and I'll show y'all that. But all right, so I'm gonna get to breaking this thing down, come back, show y'all some stuff. All right, got the head off. You can see in there. Gotta get the shop vac, man. Suck some of that antifreeze out of there before I take these cylinders off. But yeah, you know what I mean? I thought something was gonna be coming out of here, running out of here. Some critters or something, but nah, it was time for a rebuild. But just the head. I'll show y'all. focus. Okay, so you can see here, right? Okay, you see it, 20cc domes at 12 degrees. It's little O-rings right here. All right, and you know, it was a great hit. And how you do is you just push up on there, and this is how you change your domes. And then, you know, change that O-ring, and you pop in new domes. It's a great setup. It's a great way to get higher compression. I guess if you want to compare it to, you know, changing your domes will give you comparable to like shims in the nitro engine, taking out different head shims in nitro engine. So, you know, what you're doing is you're basically moving you're playing with your compression, basically. All right, but yeah, they would pop out and we're good to go. So now these are just O-rings. All these are just, you know, like O-rings, gasket. All right. I'm gonna take the intake stuff off. Here's the carb. Let's see if we can see the name on there. Out the way. Good carb. She had the outerwear, Trinity Racing outerwears. All right, people, I'm gonna keep moving, baby. All right, be right back. Give you a little tool action. See this? So you ain't gotta use air. Just go for what you done. Telling you, people, this Milwaukee is crazy. Yes, sir. Show y'all this is the 2-to-1 and intake. And so this is the front. I mean, yeah, or rear, whatever you want to call it, where the carb hooks up at. So it brings your fuel air mixture in and splits it up between the two. And this is the Reforce reeds. If you don't know about a reed, let me show y'all. V-Force reeds. All right, they use the carbon fiber. All right, and it acts like a check valve. So you got fuel and air mixture coming in this way, and it opens up, and then it lets that go into the intake. All right, and then but it shuts down when, like, on the compression stroke. Oops. That way you can't get your fuel air mixture coming back. It only can go one direction. See this? See how it opens up? That's your reeds right there. All right, that's it. And so that brings your mixture in. Hold on, let me get a rag real quick. All right, that brings your mixture in for your intakes. All right, that's your intakes. And you can see the port work done on there as far as my intakes. Ported and polished, baby. This was a nasty motor, trust me. Trust me, this motor was nasty. Alright. Get a little front action there. Damn, hold on. Hands. Holding this camera. It was a good motor. Hold on, let me see if I can slide up here. I got something going on in there. I gotta look at that. But all right. So that's your reeds right there. Now, I don't know if fifth scales have it down. If somebody with a fifth scale, you can comment below or do a video. It don't matter. They got, I know they 2-stroke, but I don't know if the 5th scales have the reeds. I'd like to know that. So anybody with a 5th scale, y'all can comment, let me know. That's your reeds right there. All right. Sometimes what happens is these get brittle and they'll break off and go into your intake. So it's good to always check these. All right. Got the cylinders off. That's the rods. Had a little problem. See, I was developing some rust. So I'm gonna replace these and put some anti-seize on these things, man. Yeah, it was a little hard getting off too, man. I had to use a rubber mallet. Good 5-pounder on there. These are the cylinders, pistons right here, and hold on, this damn thing focused. All right, there we go. Not too bad. You can see the rings. See your rings right there. And I mean, those that don't know, it's similar to a nitro engine, whereas though nitro engine has a piston and a rod. The difference is these use rings for your compression. Nitro engine, that little sleeve, cylinder, whatever you want to call it, is in a conical form, meaning from the bottom it's bigger and as it goes to the top it's smaller. That's how it builds up its compression. With these 2-strokes, the cylinder is the same size throughout, and your rings are what builds up your compression. Okay, just a little information if somebody didn't know. And you should always, when you're doing your rings, you should stagger them. This light might be a little bit too much, but you should stagger them. Okay, meaning one opening there, another opening there. You should stagger them. And it works the same way. We got a little pin, and it's a C-clip. Take the C-clip out on one side, push the pin out. These are little rolling bearings. They go in here, and then your pin go in there with your piston on top. Little C. And normally when you buy a piston and ring kit, they come with all of these. Some of them. Let's look at the piston. I mean, not the piston, the cylinder. See if I can get you some better light. Not too bad. I don't know if y'all can see in there. Yeah, there you go. No scoring or nothing. Like I said, this motor ran. There wasn't nothing wrong with this motor. It's just like I said, I just put it up, you know. Still got a little bit of cross hatches that I put those in myself. I got a cross hatcher. Every time I put in new piston and rings, I always put new cross hatches in. Cylinders is good. Just need to be, like I said, cleaned up. You know, I gotta clean this thing up. But I was gonna get y'all a part number for these pistons, but it's kind of useless because well, that's it right there. You can see it. But this is, remember, this is 40 millimeters over. These not standard size. These 40 millimeters over. But that's the part number if you got a Banshee and you bore it out 40 millimeters over. All right. I'll tell you what, you can still see. Look at that. Still had that protection. Still had that protection up in there. And this thing sat for a while, trust me. And then not the best conditions. Alright, we'll start getting out clutch baskets and stuff. Because on the Yamaha, on the Banshee motor, is a clamshell. The bolts are underneath the bottom, okay? So it comes apart like top half, bottom half. And the bolts is underneath the bottom. But you gotta get all this stuff off first. You know what I'm saying? And water pump is in here. Like I said, the clutch basket and all that. You gotta take all this stuff out. Take this off, timing plate, all that stuff gotta come out. Got the clutch side off. Look, let me show you something. It's supposed to be screws right here. I lost some screws. 1, 2. And I don't know where they at, people. I don't even see them in there. That's why I'm like, where they go? They must have got annihilated or something. I don't know. But dang, I don't even see them. But anyway, your clutch basket, and it works the same way as like normal clutches, where you got one fiber, one steel, one fiber, one steel, one fiber, one steel. You build up, and usually when I'm replacing the clutch, whether it's in here, 4-stroke, I replace the clutch in that, or my R1, I normally soak them. Like these are soak them in. You can soak them in transmission fluid. You know, depends on the oil or whatever that's gonna be in. That's what I usually soak them in. So you know, so on the 4-stroke, I usually soak them in whatever oil that the clutch is gonna be operating in. I soak them in that. So, clutch cover. This is the water pump. Okay, and sometimes if you open this up and you got like antifreeze mixing in here, this little O-ring in there underneath that gear, just change that out. It's an easy job, easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. You pop that out, change it, and it's a cover like this cover here covers this up here. All right, so you take that cover off, pop that out, and then undo the it's a C-clip. Pop your water pump off, change that O-ring. Nothing major. Here's a tip. These screws around here are all the same except one. This one. I can't do this one. So what I like to do is I'll put this one back in because I know this one's different. So this go for anything, not just this, but if you just wrenching period on whatever you're doing, don't just rip all the screws out. Make sure they all the same length, or if they're different lengths, I'll get a piece of cardboard, draw up a diagram of this, and then I'll punch holes in the cardboard and put the screws in there. That way I grab the cardboard, I look and see where each screw go, if they're different sizes, okay? I ain't had to do that here because I already knew, because I took this apart a million times, but I know this one's different, so I just put that in there just to know that's different. And the rest of these I can bag up, put it with the case and everything. So all right, I'm gonna take this off. This is where that pancake bearing is at, and this is your adjuster right here for your clutch. You know, it's a screw inside there, and normally, damn, this camera focusing, okay, inside here, normally you gotta put a wrench on here and you adjust with a screwdriver in there, and that gives you your tension. And then you just, and this sets it, the nut sets it, and the pancake bearing sits on that. And I'm gonna show you all that. I'm gonna take this off. I'm trying to figure out where the hell them screws went. All right, got the clutches out, and you know what? I made a mistake. Remember I said I lost those 2 nuts? I didn't lose them. What happened was I took them out because these clutches are race clutch springs. They're thicker, lot harder spring. So it makes the clutch lever a lot harder to squeeze. So I took 2 of them out, and it makes the lever a lot easier to squeeze. That's why they was out. I remember it as I took it apart. Here's your clutches, fibers, and these fibers pretty good. And steel plates. Now I was getting some rust on this. Let me show you. I was getting some rust. That's because you know, like I said, this motor sat, and you know, so I gotta definitely replace this clutch. But it's usually fiber steel, which goes in your basket. Something I noticed on the basket, you see that biting down on that? See if I can get you in there. See it biting down on that? That come from the fibers. Now, if this was the stock clutch basket, this would have been gone, been trashed, out, done. But just a little bit beefier, but probably still need to be replaced now. But it held up for a while, I'll tell you that. But it definitely bit into that. That's crazy. let me show you. Oh, sorry. Remember I was telling you about the rod that would lock up? All right, so this is the rod. And it pushes. See, this is your clutch lever where your clutch cable hooks up to right there. And that pushes in. And this rod goes in here. All right? That goes in there. And then this is that ball bearing, that little ball I was talking about. And that goes in there also. Now, what happens is you hit that and it weld up on there. And you can see the heat. See the heat that was building up on there. Not bad though, but yeah, it's getting hot. But that pancake bearing, let me show you the clutch, the pancake bearing. This is where's it at? Right here. All right, that's the front of the basket plate right there, and you can see this is the adjuster right here for your slot and your cable. But you see that little bearing right there? This camera zooming. All right, right there. You see that little bearing? That's not stock. You gotta buy that, but get it. It's worth it because, like I said, that helps to keep things moving freely and doesn't have that ball seize up on you in there. So you put that on first, and then you put your adjuster in there, and that sits on top of your adjuster like that. Sits on top of your adjuster. Okay. I don't need to take this off. Because if you do, it's kind of pain in the ass to adjust this again, but whatever. So that's, definitely get that though. It's your crankshaft bolt with the gears on there. And what you do is, this little tab in here, you bend that tab back. And what I do is, now they sell a tool to hold the flywheel and all that. What I do is I just stick rags in the rings and I spin them off with my impact gun. Zzz, zzz, come right off. Just bend that tab back. This is your counterbalance in there. And this right here hooks up to your Kickstarter. So that's your, right here is this your, hooks up to there, spins that, which is connected to your flywheel. I mean, that's your flywheel, your crank. All right.